Before we create an effective copy, it is a must to identify what makes a good copy. And to be able to do that, it's important to take note that there are several criteria that enhance the effectiveness of a good copy. Here are the elements that make copywriting great. Number 1. Focus on the headline. A headline is the title above a story in print and is used to call the reader's attention. Why is the headline important? As advertising tycoon David Ogilvy once said, on the average, 5 times as many people read the headline as read the body copy. When you have written your headline, you have spent 80 cents out of your dollar. A good example of this one is this headline from the article post that says, 9 things that managers do that make employees quit. This gained around 18,000 shares online because of their effective and intriguing headline. It is important to remember that when writing headlines, you only have a few seconds of your reader's attention where they quickly scan through the headline and initial paragraph, and from there, they will decide whether they want to read everything or not. In relation, you need to focus on the quality of your headline and the subhead, especially the first paragraph. So, crafting an eye catching headline and perfecting the first paragraph will definitely get the attention of your readers. But you should also make sure that you don't only put all your efforts on the headline, but also on the rest of your copies. Your piece should be high quality and engaging all throughout. By the end of the read, you should be able to persuade your readers to buy your product or to take some action. So take note, your headline should be strong. Second, the art of persuasion. As a copywriter, your main goal is to persuade your readers to take some action. You have to make your readers realize that your product is something that they need rather than just a want. Identify your product features and explain how these will make your readers' lives better. For example, if you're writing about a new fitness app, you should describe the features of the app and how these features will help them stay healthy and reach their fitness goals effectively. The art of persuasion can also be achieved by putting yourself in their shoes and empathizing with their feelings. This way, you will be able to understand their pain points and highlight in your copy the potential benefits of the product. Third, create connections between you and the reader. When you connect with your readers, you can easily persuade them to purchase your product or service. To be able to do this, you should focus on the tone of your writing. It should be compelling, interactive, and informative. Here are some additional pointers. First is to really get to know your audience. By knowing who your readers are, you can easily identify what your tone and content should be. This will enable them to understand your writing and relate to it. You may also conduct some research and surveys about what your target market is interested in, their pain points, their preferences, demographics, and a lot more. Gather these important details so you can write your copies accordingly. Another way to connect with your audience is to highlight the feature that will solve their pain points. Emphasize this one important product feature, specification, or detail in your copies, as this will turn your potential customers to paying customers. And lastly, deliver the promise of listening. It is also important to deliver good customer service and overall satisfaction to your customers. They need to be heard, not just for inquiries or complaints, but also for your understanding of their preferences. This will help your brand to continuously improve on its products or services and eventually help you attract more customers in the long run. As a copywriter, it is your duty to ensure that your customers' queries, questions, and complaints are heard, understood, and responded to. Fourth, focus on the presentation of the text. Nobody wants to read a huge chunk of text, so the way you present your copies is important because most people are always in a rush and they simply quickly scan through what they read. To make sure you catch their attention, arrange it in a way that they get all the necessary information with just a few glances. So, how can you do that? First, divide your text using headings and subheadings. This will present the information in a more organized and clear manner as readers are able to digest smaller chunks of information rather than writing everything in long descriptions in just one paragraph. Next, highlight important phrases and sentences. Bold text will automatically capture one's attention as soon as they see your copy, but make sure that the bold text are the important information that your readers will be interested to know. Another one is by using visuals whenever possible. As they say, a picture paints 1,000 words. If you have product shots, use these along with your copy as it will be easier for them to understand all the information that you are presenting. Finally, make a bulleted or numbered list. For technical or detailed information about your product, it is best to present it through a numbered list. That way, a better presentation of these information will make it easier for your readers to understand the information rather than scanning through long paragraphs. Fifth, the power of storytelling. Storytelling is known to be a very powerful formula for effective copywriting. Writing your copies using storytelling will attract more readers and therefore will create more buzz. So, how do we start with storytelling? Make sure to add a character, a conflict, and a solution. You may also consider your customer or reader to be your main character so they can relate to it more. Learn about their pain points and target them in your copy. Empathize with their struggles and build a relatable character around real life scenarios. Lastly, offer a resolution or a solution to the pain points you've mentioned. Sixth, use cliffhangers. A cliffhanger is a type of story or situation which is suspenseful in nature. This keeps the readers hooked as the human brain always seeks for closure. By using cliffhangers, you're luring your followers and readers to click on the post to know more. You may add cliffhangers like how to or how can you to spark more curiosity and interest. Just keeps the readers hooked as the human brain always seeks for closure. By using cliffhangers, you're luring your followers and readers to click on the post to know more. You may add cliffhangers like how to or how can you to spark more curiosity and interest. Just like in the movie called How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is the title of the magazine article that the protagonist was writing for. The word how is a powerful cliffhanger as it leaves your readers wondering. Once you add a cliffhanger to your post, provide a call to action copy that will lead them to the answer. Seventh, use literary devices. Literary devices are formats and styles of writing a copy that engages a reader and keeps them interested. These use phonetics, extra conjunctions, and rhyming words to make it catchy. One among the 10 effective literary devices suggested by Damien Farnworth is parallelism. Parallelism is a set of words that belong to parallel words but still combine to portray a similar meaning in a sentence. Parallelisms are used to formulate a list of product features or attributes but with an unexpected twist. It's either this, then that, or this and that. The pattern will look like this, 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 or this, this, that. Let's take a look at an example from Apple's iPad Pro, which says thin, light, epic, which is in the format of this, this, this. 8. Use rhetorical devices. Rhetorical devices are similar to literary devices. They are alliterations, powerful words, phrases, phonetics, or rhyming words that trick the reader's brains and make them want to know more about the product and ultimately purchase it. Here are some rhetorical devices that you can use. Tricolon refers to the use of three consecutive sentences or phrases that sound similar and are often associated with authority and power. A very popular brand that has been an avid fan of rhetorical devices in their copies and ads for a very long time now is Apple. For example, a banner ad for the MacBook Pro read, "More power, more performance, more pro," which distinguishes their laptops from other brands. Synesthesia is a popular rhetorical device that mixes different senses to induce a tingling and surprising effect in your brain. This can confuse your brain and make it interpret sounds as tastes, colors as smells, or tastes as touch. A popular example of this device is used by Coca-Cola in their Taste the Feeling campaign. Antitheses are words or slogans that are placed next to each other in a contrasting fashion. Some examples of antithesis words include hot versus cold, big versus small, before versus after, parent versus child, up versus down. Let's take an example of Apple again. As you may have noticed, Apple loves to use rhetoric and literary devices in their copies. A banner ad that promotes their Apple Watch SE says, "Heavy on features, light on the pocket." This illustrates the strength of contrast and the power of antitheses as they used heavy and light in such a way that they make users feel that their product is premium and superior. Rhyming words. Rhyming words instantly grab a reader's eye and help them easily recall it. Because they are catchy in nature, readers can easily recall a particular brand through its slogan. Another example from Apple is their iPhone 12 ad, which says, "Blast past fast." Humor. Humor is one of the most brilliant tools since it showcases the human side of your company, which makes it relatable and trustworthy. But you have to be very careful adding this to your copy to avoid offending anyone. An example of good humor is an ad from a radio station showing a cassette tape saying, "iPod, I'm your father." The light humor in this ad relates to how music storage has evolved over the years. In summary, these various elements and techniques will definitely improve your copies and enhance your writing skills, which can help you gain more paying customers. To make sure that your copies are effective, compelling, and persuasive, so readers will take action, just remember these copywriting rules. First and foremost, know your target market. Know exactly who your target person is, down to what he or she wears, what he or she does in the morning until evening. You may also conduct focus group discussions or surveys to know more about your target market. An example of this one is the Stroof Bus ad by the newspaper The Economist, which says, "Hello to readers in high office. They surely know who their target audience is, and therefore created an ad very specific for them." Do your research. One of the other ways to get to know your target market is to know which media or medium they are exposed to, so you know which media you will use to advertise to them. Just make sure that when you do your research, you only refer to reliable sources. Take a look at this example from UVstat, which provides information at the bottom page of their print ad about UV rays and how their product can help in protecting the skin from the harmful rays which causes wrinkles, sagging, and aging. Answer the brief. Creating a copywriting brief is crucial as this contains lots of details and information that you will need when you write. You may have your own template already, which is fine. If you don't have yet, here are some questions that you should include in your brief. 10 things to ask before writing anything. What is the goal of the copy? Is it to sell a product or push a free trial of a service? Is it for awareness or to generate buzz about your brand? Who is the reader of the copy? Car owners? Commuters? What are these people like? What are their hopes and dreams? What are they like in terms of demographics and psychographics? What are we promoting? What are its features? How is it different or better than previous products from this company? From competing products? From total alternatives? How does what we're writing about benefit the reader? Does it improve their health? Does it save them money? What is the reader supposed to do when they have already finished reading the copy? Tap a button or go to your website? Are there any reasons why the reader might not do what they're supposed to? Is the product 10 times more expensive than its nearest rival? Is it complicated to use? What brand guidelines should we follow? Is there a brand voice? What is the timeline for the copy? When do you need the first draft? When is the launch? Who will be involved in the approval process? Is it the marketer, the chief marketing officer, the business owner? You can use these questions to create your copywriting brief template. Be relevant. As the writer of Apple's greatest ads, Steve Hayden, puts it, search for some way to relate the tiny, constricted world the client lives in to the larger, sunnier world people actually care about. Let's watch this video.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Olio is a mobile app for food sharing, aiming to reduce food waste. It does this by connecting those with surplus food to those who need or wish to consume such food. The food must be edible. It can be raw or cooked, sealed or open. They just recently launched a hard hitting TV and out of home campaign to raise awareness of the UK's household waste crisis. You can see in their ad copies how they used "let's not waste our wonderful world" to raise awareness about food wastes and how to encourage their users as a call to action to use their mobile app to manage their food surplus. Keep it simple. To keep your copy simple, highlight important product benefits using simple words and short sentences. Take a look at how Subdue, a fungicide used in ornamental crops and flower bulbs, did a simple print ad containing three short sentences and highlighting how they are better than other competitors and that they cost less. Last but not least is know your medium. In the communication process, a medium is needed in order for the sender to convey its message to the receiver. Because of that, it's important to know how and what they are used for to make sure that you are effectively communicating your message to them. So, what media should you use? Let's take a look at each. Under broadcast media is the radio. This medium is intimate because it's as if you're near or beside who you are talking to. Here you can create silences or surprising sound textures to make the imagination work since there are no visuals in radio. Short, simple lines with proper intonation will also send the correct message to your listeners. Under broadcast 2 is the TV. Here, stories can be better understood as it comes with both the audio and visuals. You may use TV if you're currently focused on brand building and creating brand awareness among prospective customers. Next is print media, which is one of the oldest and most popular media of advertising. Print media has better reach and can even be used for copy extensive advertisements. Print advertising includes newspaper advertisements, which have the highest reach among other types of print advertisements. Magazine advertisements, which can be used for niche advertisements. Brochures are used for awareness and education. And lastly, flyers, which are very useful for local businesses. Next is outdoor advertising. This involves placing fixed, printed, or audiovisual advertisements in locations most visited by the target market. Outdoor advertising can be classified into banners and hoardings, flags, wraps, events and sponsorship, automobiles. Last is digital advertising. These are advertisements that are digitally displayed over the internet or other digital services. This includes the internet, media devices like smartphones, tablets, and other digital devices. this discussion, our goal is to ensure that the copy and the message is seen, read, and heard by our target audience, meaning we strike a conversation with people who we want to engage with our brand. David Ogilvy says, "You will never win fame and fortune unless you invent big ideas. It takes a big idea to attract the attention of consumers and get them to buy your product. Unless your advertising contains a big idea, it will pass like a ship in the night." And the big idea helps paint a clear picture where your brand fits in the life of your target market. Before we go to understanding how to create a big idea, we will first define what it is. According to Ahrens, Schaefer, and Weigold, the big idea is a bold, creative initiative that builds on the strategy, joins the product benefit with consumer desire in a fresh, involving way, brings the subject to life, and makes the audience stop, look, and listen. To put it simply, the big idea is a singular message that tells a compelling story about what your product, service, or brand is about, how it fits in the life of your intended audience, and how your brand, product, or service solves a problem. It basically combines the product truth and the consumer insight in order to deliver a compelling message that invites a call to action. And most importantly, it allows them to understand why they should want or need your product in a more emotional, sensory way. To better understand the formula for generating your big idea, let's define consumer insight and product truth first. Consumer insight is the interpretation of your customer's behavior, experiences, beliefs, needs, or desires. On the other hand, product truth is what your product does to assist consumers in forming or altering their perspective and opinion of your product or brand. To apply this formula, we'll be looking at some examples of ad executions with your consumer insights, product truths, and big ideas. The first one is an ad from the chocolate bar brand Snickers. Let's watch this video.
Mike, what is your deal, man?
Come on, man. You've been riding me all day.
Mike, you're playing like Betty White out there.
That's not what your girlfriend said.
Baby! You Snickers. Better?
Better.
I'm all bet!
That hurt.
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
This popular Sneakers tagline speaks about how being hungry prevents us from being true to ourselves, and so a quick grab of Sneakers will allow us to get a quick but energizing feel. The consumer insight is, when you're hungry, it's simply hard to focus on anything. You don't perform to the level you normally do. The product truth is, Sneakers is the perfect way to get back to being yourself. Fully packed with peanuts, caramel, nougat, and milk chocolate, Sneakers satisfies your hunger. And finally, the big idea, which was derived from the product truth and consumer insight, you're not you when you're hungry. Sneakers satisfies. The second ad is from L'Oreal Germany. However, the way this ad was created speaks to a target market perceived before as unusual to the brand, but also talks about an important message delivered powerfully. Leveraging on the brand's big idea of because you're worth it, L'Oreal came up with a campaign that focuses on women empowerment, telling men how women can also be leaders. More importantly, the way the message was delivered through visual graphs that are represented by the brand's products also help emphasize the big idea in such a way that it provides a visual representation of why it's worth it to hire more women for leadership roles. So now, let's see how they came up with their big idea. For the consumer insight, 91.4% of men in Germany dominate the management and executive boards. The product truth says, with women in 30% of management positions, profitability increases by 15%. They perform 24% better in management reviews. L'Oreal believes that women are worth the leadership role. And finally, the big idea, hire more women in leadership roles. We're all worth it. So now, how do we generate the big idea? Given our previous examples, it is important for us to understand who we are talking to when we start communicating the message that we carry or our big idea. And as such, it is important for us to know who our target market or audience is. To refresh everyone, your target market is your intended audience or the persona that you're trying to talk to as a brand. And our golden rule with identifying your target market is that it can't be everyone. Also, when in the process of crafting your big idea, it is important to keep in mind to not consider ourselves as the target market. Instead, find out about the language, tone, voice, and even words that will work with your intended target market. As a copywriter, assuming that you are the target market will give you a bias while in the thought process. Also, we need to know where they are in their journey with the brand. Are they in the awareness stage, interest, desire, action, or do you want to retain them? How do they go through this journey? How does your message help them go through the journey? Finally, imaging. What visuals and images are painted in the target market's minds based on your material? Is it the image that you want them to have about your brand, product, or service? After generating our target market, The next step for us is to ensure that we capture the target market's attention. And in order for us to capture their attention, the big idea should be big, which means buzzworthy, incomparable, and goal driven. Buzzworthy. The message that the big idea carries should be enough to be the talk of the town or something that can be part of a conversation. Your message should be interesting enough that people remember it to talk about it. It could be anchored in trends or current events. Remember, the more people talk about your message in a good light, the more you're likely to strike a nerve. Take a look at this example from KFC. Their ad says, "The secret is experience. Hire more seniors like we do." This Labor Day ad was intended to help senior citizens from Costa Rica since their senior unemployment rate rose up to 138% in 2021. KFC believes in the experience of adults 65 years old and above. The best example is Colonel Sanders, who at age 65 started KFC and sold more chicken than ever in his life. It's in their brand DNA to believe and give job opportunities to senior citizens who need them. In that same year, 25% of KFC employees were seniors. Incomparable. Your message should never have the same message or thought as your competitors. You want your message to be uniquely your brand's, not anyone else's. You want your product to be in its own league through your message. For example, this ad of Yakult talking about how impossible it is to share your Yakult bottle due to how small it is, and the amount of one Yakult bottle is just enough for one person. Another way is how Burger King delivers its big idea of king. They were able to own it and even use it to their advantage and positioning their brand as a better choice to their competitors. Incomparability has three types: genuine, industrial, and created. Genuine incomparability is the innate uniqueness of your brand, product, or service. There is nothing like it. Not even your competitors can deliver. Industrial incomparability, on the other hand, is the leverage that you can get when you have a strategy similar to your competitors, but they aren't talking about it, giving you the opportunity to leverage on what is actually an opportunity. Lastly, created incomparability. This is when you find something exciting and compelling, or even create something exciting and compelling to help it stand apart from competition. It is somewhat similar to industrial comparability in the sense that the opportunity of creating something exciting is already there, but not really leveraged on by your competitors. Finally, goal driven. What are your objectives in launching this message and campaign? What do you want to achieve? What does your product solve for your audience and how do you want them to take up on your message? It should be clear enough that the target market understands why you are talking to them the way you are talking to them. Take, for example, how Dove is always highlighting in their ads how they cleanse and moisturize the skin at the same time, which is a thing that regular soaps can't, since they are focused on the cleansing part, hence drying the skin. Dove wants their users to achieve the best care for their skin, and that is to moisturize and cleanse at the same time. Since we've been talking about the CTA or call to actions, let's understand more about what this means. A call to action or CTA is what you encourage your audience to do after receiving, perceiving, and processing your message. It encourages them to do something, or as the name implies, to take action. For example, you might say, buy now, learn more, visit our shop, or try now. or others, which in turn drives customers to the appropriate action, thereby creating an impact to the business in terms of sales, site or store visits, foot or web traffic, leads, or conversions. Here are some examples of CTAs which you can use depending on what you're writing for and its purpose. As you can see, subscription streaming site Hulu uses a Start Your Free Trial CTA to encourage its user trial. In order for us to write compelling CTAs, we need to have a thought process. First, we have to pick strong action words. Your CTA should be imperative enough that encourages your audience to take action and get moving right after reading it. The website of ZipRecruiter shows how they encourage companies to post jobs to their website for free through their CTA button. Second, add a sense of urgency to your CTA. It should feel that it is time sensitive and that your audience is missing out on something big if they don't take action. It should cause enough urgency that they feel it, but not too much that they feel that they're forced to buy it. Third, show a clear sense of benefit. Your audience should clearly see why they should act. How big are they missing out on if they don't act? Is this too big of a deal to lose it if they pass up? Will this create a next level opportunity if they act? Or is this product or service so good that they'll regret not trying it earlier? They should feel and see why they should. Fourth, stay true to your brand voice. Your brand has a certain voice or persona that your most loyal customers would recognize. And as you write your call to action, it should factor in who your brand is, how you deliver your messages, and what manner and tone, and more. When you speak to your audience, it should feel like a familiar, dependable friend for your existing audience, or a friend that they finally got to know for your new customers. Fifth, always keep it clear. Clarity is key. You don't want to confuse your customers with your call to action. A customer confused is a customer lost, and your confusion might also cause you to have them talk about you negatively. Sixth, always ensure that your customers are redirected to where they should go. You want them to buy? Lead them to your online or physical store or to your mobile app. You want them to get to know you more? Lead them to your socials or your website. Or maybe you want them to explore your catalog? Lead them to your online catalog. A clearly defined customer experience not only ensures that your customers take action, but also that they take action the way you want them to, powerfully and repeatedly. Seventh, keep it conversational. Ensure that your audience feels like they're conversing with a friend and not merely being told what to do. They should feel the genuineness of the conversation that you're initiating through your CTA. While call to actions may be hard, actionable callouts, humanity should still be present, even at this level.